The city of New York is the home of the Faro Lines, which operates a fleet of ships on a regular schedule for passengers and cargo that link the east coast of the United States with all three ocean coasts of Africa. After the ships that are en route to South Africa leave New York, they follow the Great Circle route, a distance of 6,780 nautical miles from New York to Cape Town. On the 9th day out of New York, the ship crosses the equator and then continues into the waters of the South Atlantic, passing Ascension Island and stopping at St. Helena to arrive at Cape Town on the 17th day. The captain, by the ancient laws of the sea, is the master of his ship. He is responsible for the safety of the passengers and the crew, the ship and its cargo. The master of the African Endeavor is a veteran in the service of the Faro Lines and is its commodore. His chief officer is also experienced in the African service. It requires special knowledge to supervise the maintenance of the ship in tropical waters and to direct the proper stowage of the cargo, its loading and unloading. The smooth functioning of the steam turbines that drive the African Endeavor is a most important part of the ship's operation. The chief engineer has been at sea more than 40 years, 28 of them as chief engineer. On or near the bridge are centered all types of modern instruments for the navigation and safety of the ship. The bridge is continuously manned by one of the 4 licensed deck officers. Because of the automatic gyro steering mechanism called the iron mike, the quartermaster seldom steers a modern ship except when it is entering or leaving a port. Radar scans the surrounding sea. It picks up ships or other objects and transmits their outlines to the radar scope on the bridge. Through this control panel, in case of emergency, any or all watertight doors can be closed immediately to seal off any particular compartment. This is one of the many safety features of the ship. During the early part of the voyage, the ship has its first lifeboat drill. Lifeboats are lowered over the side during the drill in order to ensure that everything is functioning properly. The Faro Lines are insistent that its officers and crewmen observe all of the safety rules of the sea. The passengers have been notified ahead of time and given the locations of their lifeboat station. The lifeboats are always kept in readiness, provisioned with food and water. Medical supplies are a part of its equipment. These youngsters are enjoying the thrill and excitement of their first boat drill. The chart room adjoins the bridge and captain's quarters, and here the second mate, who is also the navigator, charts the course of the ship at sea. This modern chart room contains many new navigational aids, such as the LORAN, an electronic device by which a ship can determine its position if within 1,500 miles off the coast of the United States. Another important navigational aid is the direction finder, which locates the position of the ship by the angle of beams picked up on the finder. Beams from land stations are computed at the point where they cross, and these lines of position give the location of the ship. The gyro compass is not affected by magnetism, but runs by an electric motor. It maintains a true course regardless of all weather conditions or other influences. The radio room is the communication center of the African Endeavor and is in continuous operation 24 hours a day. It maintains a radio telephone from ship to shore and wireless service to all parts of the world. The ship is powered by a cross-compound steam turbine developing many thousands of horsepower. These engines drive the ship at a cruising speed of 17½ knots, or nearly 20 land miles per hour. Each of these many dials in the engine room has a special function, such as indicating steam pressure and temperature, water pressure, and turbine vacuum. Other dials, in conjunction with the blackboard, indicate which motors and compressors are in operation and the temperatures of the 11 refrigerator boxes containing the ship's supplies. The chief steward, with the assistance of a second and third steward and more than 40 other personnel, prepare and serve about 450 meals each day. The chief steward and chef plan the meals for everyone on the ship. The large air-conditioned galley or kitchen with its ultra-modern equipment makes it possible to cook the wide variety of tempting dishes for which the Farrell lines are noted. In addition to the chef, there are a first cook and 4 second cooks, all of whom are kept busy preparing the 30,000 to 40,000 meals served during the round trip. In a spick and span shop, the bakers make bread, rolls, pies, cakes, pastries, and many special desserts for the passengers and members of the crew. The pantrymen are experts in the preparation of foods for buffets and in the making of salads, sandwiches, and a variety of tasty appetizers. The fruits, vegetables, and dairy products for the voyage are kept in prime condition in air-conditioned and temperature-controlled boxes. Groceries of all kinds comprise a large part of the food supplies. During an average round trip of 65 days, more than 5 tons are used. An experienced butcher and his assistants prepare all meats, fish, and poultry for delivery to the cooks. Approximately 10 tons of these products are used on each voyage. There are 3 dining rooms for the crew and 1 for the junior officers. All of these are part of the steward's department and are supplied with the same quality of food as that given the passengers. Waiters pick up their orders in the kitchen, hot from the big ranges, and serve it to the passengers in the main dining salon, which is only a few yards forward. The main dining salon is a large, temperature-controlled room where 76 persons can relax and visit while they enjoy perfect service and partake of meals that equal the best obtainable in the finest hotels. The dining salons on the African Endeavor and its sister ship, the African Enterprise, are noted not only for their food, but for the fact that they are marvelously steady and extremely comfortable. The barber shop and beauty parlor are in charge of an experienced operator who also carries a large stock of toilet articles, novelties, and souvenirs. A completely equipped modern laundry serves the needs of the passengers and does all the necessary ship's linen. The ship's doctor is a senior staff officer. His office and quarters include a compact and well-equipped laboratory. His drug stock includes approved pharmaceutical products, such as the latest developments in antibiotics. There is also an air-conditioned hospital containing 8 beds and the necessary equipment to meet emergencies. The chief purser is one of the busiest men on the ship. He is popular with the passengers because of his capable direction of all entertainments and special activities on board. Passengers organize their own sports tournaments for keener competition. The deck games include tennis, the always popular quoits, and shuffleboard. All of these games offer friendly competition and healthful exercise. The tiled swimming pool is a great attraction for the passengers, many of whom spend hours each day enjoying the healthful saltwater bathing. There's a special swimming pool on a miniature scale for the children. Here the kiddies splash and play in the warm sunshine while their parents read or snooze nearby. During the forenoon and afternoon, deck stewards serve the passengers cool drinks and dainty sandwiches. Both the Endeavour and her sister ship, the Enterprise, have 29 cabins, 7 on A deck and 22 on B deck. All are outside, furnished with comfortable beds, large wardrobes, and private baths. The main lounge on A deck forward is the social center, where the passengers play cards, read, and watch motion pictures in the evening. An attentive steward watches after the comfort of the passengers. The smoking lounge on the after part of A deck is the gathering place in the evening for cocktails, dancing, horse races, and other special activities. A huge mural, the work of an American artist, decorates one wall of the lounge. It depicts the landing of Peter Van Riebeck at the Cape of Good Hope in 1652. Throughout the entire voyage, the passengers enjoy the friendly atmosphere of this lounge, forming many friendships that continue throughout the following years. Horse racing provides a few evenings of amusement and is participated in by all the passengers with a great deal of enthusiasm. Fine library of dance music and an excellent dance floor provide the necessary ingredients for many sociable evenings. Father Neptune and his court come aboard to conduct the ancient ceremony of initiating those who are making their first crossing of the equator. The Royal Equatorial Court sits in judgment while the candidates are subjected to traditional tests and trials in a colorful and friendly ceremony that is long remembered as one of the outstanding events of the voyage. Following the crossing of the equator, the passengers are treated to a gala dinner party in honor of the new shellbacks, who are now full-fledged subjects of Father Neptune. The decorations, table favors, and noisemakers are in harmony with the gaiety and good fellowship that prevails. After passing the equator, Ascension Island rises out of the sea. 34 square miles of volcanic rock. Ascension is noted for its sea turtles and also for the vitally important part it played during World War II. An exciting stopover on the voyage to South Africa is made at the island of St. Helena, where the Emperor Napoleon died in exile. Discovered by the Portuguese in 1502, St. Helena is situated in the South Atlantic, 955 miles south of the equator and 1,750 miles from Cape Town. Jamestown is the only settlement of any consequence. It lies in a deep canyon, which shuts it in on 3 sides by rocky cliffs, the open part being northward to the sea. The church spire of ancient St. James, built in 1765, stands against the sky. Beyond the church, the modern liner African Endeavour swings at her anchor. Along the main cobblestone street of Jamestown, there are about 3 blocks of business houses, where practically all of the retail activities of the island are transacted. Along this quaint old street, the natives sell their hand-embroidered linens and other homemade items to the visitors. The population of St. Helena is about 5,000, of which less than 100 are whites. The natives are of a mixed origin and known as St. Helenians. There is little arable land on this 47-square-mile island, and most of this is planted in New Zealand hemp, its principal export. On the way to Plantation House, the traveler is certain to pass some of the islanders and their patient donkeys, transporting produce to the market in Jamestown. The governor's residence is known as Plantation House. The governor and his executive council administer the islands of St. Helena, Ascension, and Tristan da Cunha. After Napoleon's defeat at the Battle of Waterloo, he was brought to St. Helena on an English man-of-war. Arriving on October 5th, 1815, he lived here at Longwood until his death 6 years later. The French tricolor ripples in the gentle winds that blow over the gardens of Longwood, a sacred place to French patriots. Napoleon was proud of these beautiful gardens, which he designed himself. Here he spent his last years, strolling among the agapanthus and watching the shadows play on the nearby peaks. While walking along a garden path, visitors can look through these two windows into the room where Napoleon spent most of his later months, dreaming of a return to France. Through his bedroom window, the emperor in exile could enjoy this view of Flagstaff Peak, which rises nearly 2,300 feet. The interior of Longwood has been converted into a museum, and on the very spot where Napoleon died stands this excellent marble bust. The museum contains many interesting mementos of Napoleon's career, including this rosewood tea chest, which was taken from his carriage after the Battle of Waterloo. Because the English and French could not agree upon a suitable inscription, the body of Napoleon rested in this nameless tomb until the remains were exhumed and carried back to Paris in 1840. After a most interesting day on historic St. Helena, the passengers return to the modern comfort of the African endeavor. When everyone is safely aboard, the ship will sail for Cape Town, the southern gateway to the mystery and romance of Africa. The landing formalities at Cape Town require only a few minutes, and soon the travelers are going ashore to enjoy their first day of sightseeing in Africa. The beautiful modern buildings near Sea Point are a great surprise to people who think of South Africa as a primitive and undeveloped country. For more than 200 years, Adderley Street has been the hub of all life in the mother city. It is still the principal thoroughfare of Cape Town and the center of a modern shopping district. Fish Hook is a noted seaside resort, only a short drive from Cape Town. Here the visitor finds perfect bathing, boating, sailing, and fishing. The star-spangled crooning minstrels make their grand entrance to open the Coon Carnival, a colorful spectacle staged once a year in Cape Town. The Coon Carnival is the most important event in the lives of the Cape Color, and during the carnival, 50 or more troops compete at various centers for prizes and championships. These gay and brightly colored costumes are copies from the early American minstrels of the Old South. A luxurious motor coach takes the traveler from Cape Town via the famous garden route to Port Elizabeth. Mossel Bay, where the garden route begins, is famous for its natural bathing pool called the Port, which is protected from the waves of the Indian Ocean by a series of reefs. The next stop is George, a city of flowers and beautiful homes, which lies in the shadow of the Otaniqua Mountains. George is the junction point for many important roads, and one of these is the new National Highway over the Otaniqua Pass into the Little Karoo. The Little Karoo is a semi-desert valley that lies between the Otaniqua and Swartberg Mountains. Here, flocks of ostrich, rather than herds of cattle, graze on pastures of alfalfa. At Highgate Ostrich Farm, visitors gather under a large pepper tree, where they are greeted by Mr. Hooper, whose grandfather established the farm more than 100 years ago. In 1850, wild ostriches were first captured and domesticated near Oatshorn, and ever since, this community has been the center of the ostrich industry. Ostrich feathers are used for many purposes, including such elegant capes as this. The skins are made into many beautiful items, including shoes and handbags. The ostrich is a very fast runner and difficult to ride. This native boy makes a fast but short trip. Returning over the Otaniqua Pass and through George, the bus enters a vale of peace and contentment called the Wilderness. This unique village lies along the warm waters of the Indian Ocean and offers everything that a person could desire in sea bathing, fishing, and relaxation. An important stopping place on the garden route is Knysna, the center of the South African wood carving and furniture manufacturing industry. The beautifully grained stinkwood found in the great Sitsakama forest is considered one of the most valuable woods in the world because of its rarity and unique qualities. The highway continues through the weird Sitsakama forest to Plettenberg Bay, where the bus stops at the hotel on Beacon Island. Here, the passengers can have lunch and enjoy spectacular views of the sea. From Port Elizabeth, a railway bus or safari car takes the traveler to the Transkei and Pondoland. Here, picturesque natives live in huts that cling to hillsides overlooking the green valleys. This is indeed primitive Africa. Less than 100 years ago, this also was primitive Africa. But today, the golden city of Johannesburg is a modern metropolis of nearly 1 million people. This mile-high city, situated on the high veld of the Transvaal, is the heart of South Africa's industrial and mining activities, and the largest city in the Union. Less than 1 day's journey by motor car or train from the busy streets of Johannesburg is the Kruger National Park, a vast area shaped like the state of New Jersey, but larger in size. A great variety and abundance of wild creatures live within the park, such as the zebra, and herds of wildebeest. graceful impala is found in large numbers throughout the park. And hippopotamus enjoy the coolness of a refreshing pool on the Crocodile River. Buffalo gaze with baleful eyes at the intruder. But the mighty elephant goes about his daily life undisturbed by the presence of man. The majestic lion is curious but always watchful, a noble portrait framed by the shrubs of the bush belt. Among the rare antelope in the park are the greater kudu, the shy roan, and the beautiful sable. If the visitor is lucky, he may behold and photograph some unusual and exciting scenes, such as this argument between two bull giraffes. Durban, the gateway to Natal, is a fascinating blend of the old and new, a city of charm and warm hospitality. Modern skyscrapers pierce the blue sky or stand out against the deeper blue of the Indian Ocean. The southern boundary of Zululand is less than an hour's drive from Durban, and the Zulus are a picturesque and colorful part of this unusual city. Only a generation ago, the war chants of the Zulus brought fear and panic to their enemies. Today, the zeal for battle of the Zulu warriors finds an outlet in their tribal dances. Zulu tribesmen working in and around Durban have organized themselves into troops that gather at the sports ground to entertain visitors and to satisfy their urge to prance and stomp to ancient tribal rhythm. Passengers from the African Endeavor are brought by bus to the sports field. Symbolic of the primitive Africa of yesterday, these tribal dances are performed within sight and sound of modern Durban, one of the outposts where civilization has paused to gather strength for its ultimate conquest of this vast continent. Our African visit has come to an end, and once again the passengers go aboard their floating hotel, the African Endeavor. Days are spent relaxing under blue skies, while the graceful ship cruises over calm seas on the return voyage to New York. As the ship glides into the harbor, the returning travelers are welcomed by this symbol of American liberty and by the skyline of the world's greatest city, the home port of the Faro Line ships that link the two great continents of America and Africa.